The lawn. Americans spend billions of dollars every year paying to mow the lawn. Who cares how much money Americans spend on mowing their lawn every year? I don't. I want to take a second and say welcome to the new subscribers. Really glad to have you. And welcome to a cicada summer. It's noisy. Truth is, I have a lawn. Every week I mow it. And I have no intention of replacing it with prairie grass. So let's think of the lawn kind of like a blank slate. You could just have a perfectly manicured, perfectly square lawn with nothing in it. Or maybe you set aside a little area of that lawn and sacrifice it for a trampoline for the kids to jump on. Or maybe you set aside some of that lawn for a wood pile so you could have a fire in the fireplace. Or maybe you set aside part of your lawn for a little garden so you can grow mammoth mango beets for your bunny. It's about 3 pounds. I got something for you. Ooh, don't fall. Yeah, for the most part, there's a million things we can set aside part of our lawn for. And what I'm asking you today is to consider just one more thing that you could set aside just a little bit of your lawn for. And this one's pretty darn important. Okay, it's tough to organize my thoughts and present them in a way that happens quickly and can retain your interest long enough to get my point across. But I'm going to do my best. Most reasonable people agree that there is at least a slight risk of our internet or our national electric grid going down at some point. A slight risk. But even a slight risk is too much when you consider that if that were to happen, life would get real complicated real fast. There is no preparing for that situation, at least not a way that would make it comfortable or even entirely survivable. But for the sake of convenience and comfort and progress, we traded our reliance and our dependence on God for a reliance and dependence on technology. Now, God will always be there for us, but we can't guarantee that this technology will be. So now, instead of having thousands of years of proof that our way of living is sustainable, because generation after generation after generation did the same things and survived, if not thrived. Well, in just the last 5 or 6 generations, the last 150 years, we have completely turned all of that on its head. And none of the systems that we relied on for our survival are the same. Now we rely almost entirely on networks and electricity and internet and transportation. I mean, the food that we eat is produced in the United States and shipped to a different country for processing, and it's shipped to another country for packaging, and then it's shipped back to the United States for consumption. And what I'm saying is we don't have historical precedents to demonstrate that this is sustainable. And we do it anyway for the ease and convenience, but we are risking our children's and our grandchildren's lives. Alright, I'm probably coming across a little bit like Chicken Little, running around screaming about the sky is falling. I'm sorry. Here's the good news. We've been growing all of this grass that comes from Europe, and it has real shallow root systems. Hopi blue corn has been planted in the desert, so it doesn't need watering, and they plant it super deep so they can plant it all the way down to where there is some moist soil in the desert. So it'll grow up from a depth that is below the root system of the European grass that we are growing here in the United States right now. So here's my thought. We've got all these businesses and churches and cities and city halls and huge residential lawns and little small residential lawns like mine. Just take a portion of that lawn, plant Hopi blue flower corn down below the root mass of the European lawns. Let it grow up and do its thing. Let it grow some survival seeds so that if we have a grid down scenario, we've got hundreds of millions of survival seeds to help people make it through whatever storm is coming. And so I had to prove that it worked, and so that's what I did. I planted Hopi blue flower corn down below the root mass of the European lawns. I never watered it, I never weeded it, and yeah, it's not the prettiest corn in the world, and the cobs aren't the fullest. However, I have grown by a factor of 1,000 lots and lots of survival seeds and put almost no work into it. So you got a huge tract, a huge swath of grass that isn't being used in some industrial park somewhere. You don't even have to have machinery. You just walk with a stick. You poke the stick in the ground. You drop a couple of Hopi blue flower corn seeds in, and you do nothing else. Just don't mow it over. You don't even have to pay to mow your lawn now because you're saving the world. Let the corn grow up and do nothing with it. At the end of the year, harvest the corn, mow it all flat. Your lawn is perfectly fine. You don't have to replant your lawn. And we just get into the habit of not wasting this valuable space. We keep our European lawns, and we just cycle our survival seed garden in different spots of the lawn. One year it's here, the next year it's over here, the next year it's over here. And it just becomes a normal thing that we do. And then if something drastic happens, there are a lot of survival seeds. Because as of right now, as far as I can tell, if something crazy were to happen this winter, there is no cache of survival seeds for people that aren't saving it for themselves. And that's not acceptable, because most reasonable people agree that at some point, one of these systems that we rely on is gonna fail. And if by that point in time, we have not come up with a system to make a new food system available immediately, people are going to starve to death. Maybe I'm being Chicken Little again, but how would they not if all of a sudden we can't get food from A to B and people aren't growing food for themselves? What are they going to eat? Oh, I thought this through a lot. Hopi blue corn, you plant it down below the root mass of your grass. You don't have to do anything else. You don't even have to dig a hole to plant the corn down there. You just poke a hole with a stick, drop the seed in, forget about it. I planted 1,200 seeds in less than an hour. I did nothing else. I took some pictures so I could show you good folks. I did nothing else. And I'm gonna have grown like 1,000 ears of corn to save for survival seeds. That's enough for 60 people, 5 whole families. And I've done nothing. In fact, I did less than nothing, because now I don't have to mow the lawn where the corn is growing. And we've got these business parks and these lawns that they're paying to mow, plant Hopi blue flower corn. Plant it down below the root mass of the grass. Stop paying to have it mowed. You'll save money. It'll look good on your spreadsheet.
Dad.
Yes, princess.
How do I look?
You look wonderful. Where we go? Got makeup on? You have makeup on your toes.
That's nail polish. That means on your nails you could put like sticky stuff on it, and then it makes it colorful.
That's all the time I've got today.